If you would like to move out of your home country, become a tax non-resident, and save on some tax, but you don't want to move to a completely off-the-grid country like an island, or you don't want to move to a Spanish-speaking country or somewhere where English is not widely spoken and known, then you might want to consider some particular European countries where English is widely spoken or where English is the primary language, like Ireland. My name is Yelena, and we here at Nomad Capitalist help 7 and 8-figure entrepreneurs find the places that are best for them, optimize their taxes, their corporate structures, obtain various citizenships, and go where they're treated best. When we mention Ireland, what we first think is beautiful, small country with a lot of green nature and a lot of friendly people, which is famous for obviously being English-speaking country. However, what Ireland is also famous for is obviously high taxes. So when you kind of start considering different options and you think about Ireland, probably you might be off-put by the taxes there. However, something that is not really known is that there is a non-domiciled tax regime program in Ireland, which can help you reduce your taxes, kind of structure them properly so that you pay minimum amount of taxes or no tax at all, depending on your situation. Now, if you decide to move to Ireland and become a tax resident and a non-domiciled tax resident, this can help you significantly reduce your taxes on your global income if structured properly. It will also allow you to live in Ireland without the Irish tax burdens, with the optionality to go towards an Irish passport if you decide to do so. You will also be able to further grow your passive wealth offshore without it being taxed in Ireland, as long as it's not remitted to Ireland. So this non-dom regime basically works on the remittance basis, where anything that you don't remit to Ireland that is foreign sourced is not going to be taxed in Ireland. Most of all, it is a very developed and safe country to live in. It is in European Union. It is close to all Europe and other Western countries, so it can be a great place to live in, geographically speaking. Now, how the non-domiciled regime works is obviously the center of this sentence is domicile. So first of all, you need to understand what domicile is. In Ireland, it's not clearly defined, but usually it reflects a place that you intend to permanently reside in, meaning for the foreseeable future, maybe even until your death. So the primary question when determining domicile is, where is your permanent home where you intend to eventually go back to? One thing to note is that you can never be without a domicile. Generally, you get a domicile when you were born, and it's usually based on the domicile of your father. So you have domicile by birth, and if you are born in the United States, US is going to be your domicile. However, when you turn 18 years of age, then you can choose your domicile, and that's called domicile of choice. However, this is not as easy because you cannot simply go to a country and say, well, this is my domicile now. You actually have to spend a lot of time there, a lot of years there, and show that you intend to permanently live there until you are basically old. So for all intents and purposes, for all domiciled programs, you will usually take your domicile of origin or domicile of birth, which means that country where you were born, where your father was born. So first of all, it's important to understand the notion of domicile. In Ireland, your domicile will be considered where you were born. So if that's US, that's going to be US. However, if your father was born in Ireland and you were not, then it's likely that Ireland would be seen as your domicile of origin. However, in most cases, when people want to move to Ireland, that's not the case. So you would be able to apply for the non-domiciled program and claim that you are not domiciled in Ireland. Basically, in order to prove that Ireland is not your domicile, you should still keep some ties in your home country, like have a property there potentially, have a will there, even maintain a burial plot in your country of origin. So all the ties that are needed and anything that can basically point to the fact that you plan on returning to your country of origin at one point in time, so that you're not going to spend the rest of your life in Ireland. So if you decide to move to Ireland and obtain a residence permit and live there, become a tax resident, it doesn't necessarily mean that you intend to make it your permanent home and live there forever. And this is where this non-domiciled tax regime comes. Even if you spend a couple of years in Ireland, there is no law that says after you spend this amount of year in Ireland, you're considered domiciled. So it's based on many, many factors. And sometimes if you purchase a home in Ireland, if you obtain an Irish citizenship, sometimes that can be a triggering factor for domicile, but it's not a decisive factor. So there's not a clear-cut kind of solution that points to choosing Ireland as your place of domicile. So in many cases, if you still hold ties with your country of origin, if you still intend to actually not live in Ireland for the rest of your life, you will be able to enjoy the non-domicile tax benefits. So what kind of constitutes as a non-domicile tax resident? What are exactly the benefits of tax residence there, and non-domicile tax residents in particular? So non-doms in Ireland are only subject to tax on Irish-sourced income, and that's taxed at the normal Irish tax rates. So if you have a company in Ireland, if you have a property earning rental income or any other type of income that's from Irish sources, it's still going to be taxed in Ireland, even if you're a non-dom tax resident. However, any foreign-sourced income will not be taxed in Ireland, provided that you do not remit it to Ireland. So that means that you should not send it to your bank account in Ireland. You should not use your foreign credit card in Ireland to buy things. So basically, anything that will be constituted as remittance in Ireland is going to be taxed at regular Irish tax rates. So what this program basically allows you is to keep your foreign companies offshore, keep your business or your assets offshore, earn passive income, earn income from your various assets, but keep it offshore. Don't bring it to Ireland. If you don't, you can basically have a tax-free structure. Now, obviously, the question that comes to mind, so how will I live in Ireland? I mean, there are ways that you can get some money in Ireland, maybe before you become a tax resident or so, but these are all strategies that really need to be devised carefully, and we would recommend kind of consulting with experts on this matter in order to make sure that you don't trigger any Irish tax. Now, one thing to be aware of, that domicile is a very subjective thing. So that means that from our experience, you should preferably consult with a tax advisor every couple of years to just confirm that your domicile is still not seen as Ireland and that you can enjoy these non-dom tax benefits. In addition to solidifying your non-domicile tax residence, we would also advise you to kind of rent a property, not purchase a property. And in addition to that, if you want to go towards a passport, the time restriction on how many days you have to spend in Ireland during the 6 years that is required to get a passport are very strict. So we would recommend carefully kind of seeing what the requirements are there and whether you can fulfill them in order to get an Irish passport. But if you do and you end up getting an Irish passport, you're now an EU citizen and you can live anywhere in Europe that you would like. Now, lastly, if you're going to Ireland with a spouse and your spouse cannot qualify as a non-dom, or they don't have enough income it doesn't make sense for them to do so, the good thing is that they don't have to. So the status of your spouse and whether they're considered a non-dom or not is not going to affect your status in Ireland, which is very important to note. One other thing to pay attention to is that after 3 years, you become an ordinary tax resident of Ireland, which can kind of make your tax situation a bit more difficult. This is why we always say consult with a tax advisor before you actually go there, and even when you're there every couple of years, to be able to enjoy tax-free lifestyle in Ireland and in European Union. If you're interested in more videos like this, hearing more about the Ireland non-dom or other non-dom programs, subscribe to our channel. Make sure you follow us for newest videos and news in the offshore world.